U.S. President Donald Trump delivers another blow, taking to social media to announce he's terminating all trade talks with Canada effective immediately. This latest curveball sparked by the forthcoming plans for a digital services tax. Good evening. We will get to that story in just a moment. But first, as tensions flare on the trade front, there's another split that is the talk of the city and the sports world tonight. Longtime Raptors president Masai Ujiri is out. MLSE announced they're parting ways with the man who helped deliver Toronto's first NBA championship. CTV's Adrian Gobriel has more on the impact of the announcement. Adrian.
Nathan, the timing of the news comes as a surprise just 2 days after the NBA draft. With 1 year still left on his contract, Masai Ujiri, the first executive to ever bring an NBA championship to Canada, has been relieved as team president, though his legacy will forever remain etched in Canadian sports history. June 2019, Ujiri was basking in the glow of a championship. 6 years later, almost to the day, the proud president has been shown the door.
Today's not an easy day, but as you know, change is never easy.
While acknowledging Ujiri's accomplishments, Maple Leaf Sports and Entertainment CEO Keith Pelly felt now was the time for change. Keith, you're in the business of winning. What has led you and the board at MLSE to believe that the Raptors are better positioned to win without Masai than with him?
I can't unequivocally answer your question right now because I don't know the answer.
Recently, Bell Canada, the parent company of CTV News, sold its stake in the Raptors and MLSE to Rogers Communications, who are now the majority owners.
I mean, I saw Masai a couple days ago. He seemed jovial. He seemed like himself.
We now know Ujiri was told at the beginning of the month that he was going to be let go and that he asked to stay on and help the team through the NBA draft. One league insider believes the eye-opening move is about the bottom line.
This was a cost-cutting move, first and foremost. He was already one of the highest-paid executives in sports, if not the highest-paid.
Ujiri was bold and brazen when it came to his love of Canada, Toronto, and the Raptors. Fined by the league for dropping an F-bomb during an unexpected playoff run in 2014. A philanthropist championing his Giants of Africa charity, he also had the support and friendship of former U.S. President Barack Obama. In the front office, he orchestrated multiple trades, which led to a championship that he was unable to fully enjoy after being pushed by a police officer and initially refused entry onto the court to celebrate with his team. In what would be his final season-ending press conference with the Raptors in April, Ujiri, as always, had his eye on winning.
We just have to win another one, and we will win another one here. And that's how I feel inside.
In the end, Masai Ujiri took a team that was a perennial playoff disappointment and turned them into a champion, while encouraging Canadian basketball fans to always hold their heads high and never lose faith in their team, their city, or their country. Michelle.
Thank you, Adrian. Ujiri has been part of the fabric of this city, and the news comes as a surprise for many fans. And CTV's Jessica Smith is live at Scotiabank Arena as well with more on how they're reacting. Jess.
Well, Michelle, it has been a big day for Raptors fans, again, coming off the heels of the NBA draft, picking up Colin Murray-Boyle's 9th overall and Elijah Martin 39th. But Ujiri's impact has been felt throughout the city, being with the team since 2013 and bringing us our first championship again back in 2019. That's the talk of the town today. He was very blunt in his end-of-season press conference, talking about the culture of the team, what he loved, and changes that needed to be made. And in a press conference earlier today with MLSE President and CEO Keith Pelly, he said Masai created an incredible culture within the organization. Beyond his role with the Raptors, he had a deep connection to the community here in the city of Toronto, across the country and internationally, with his Giants of Africa program started back in 2003 with its first camp, elevating the game and enriching the lives of African youth. And fans I've spoken to today say his impact was great and he will be missed.
Yeah, very excited that he actually got us the championship, made some big deals to get us there, but yeah, a little bit shocked or questionable about him leaving.
I think it'll be a loss to Raptors, if you ask me. I think he did a great job and he's got a great track record. I think the team will miss him.
Yeah. He's left a legacy that has also included connection with all the different basketball organizations, club teams, high school teams, university teams. It's made an impact.
Yes, I am shocked. Just like everybody else, I found it when I woke up this morning. And I am shocked and taken back a little bit because I was very close to him. And he was not just a general manager and president for the team. He was also a very good friend of mine with his family and everybody else.
According to MLSC, GM Bobby Webster is going to remain in place and is also in the running to replace Ujiri. And that search is beginning immediately to look for someone to take over that position next. Reporting live, I'm Jessica Smith. I'll send things back into the studio.
All right. Thank you, Jess. We turn now to Canada's trade war with the U.S. and the major developments spawning fresh economic uncertainty.
U.S. President Donald Trump has ended trade talks with Canada over the digital services tax on American technology firms. CTV's Judy Trin reports.
As the Prime Minister was hosting a virtual meeting to update his cabinet on U.S. trade negotiations, the President dropped a bombshell. On social media, Trump said because of Canada's digital services tax on American technology companies, he's terminating all discussions on trade with Canada, effective immediately.
We have all the cards. We have every single one. We don't want to do anything bad, but they have, economically, we have such power over Canada.
Speaking to CTV News after the Trump announcement, the Foreign Affairs Minister says the government is committed to continuing talks.
We will seek to have these unjustified tariffs removed. And that is the reason why we, because of the complexity of the negotiations, will not be having that conversation in public.
Tech companies that have revenues of more than $20 million, like Google, Meta, and Airbnb, are subject to the 3% digital sales tax. The first payment is due Monday. It's unclear if the Prime Minister knew this was coming, but in Brussels earlier this week, Carney spoke more cautiously about the progress of trade talks.
We'll do what's right for Canada. We're working hard to get a deal, but we'll accept the right deal with the United States. The right deal is possible, but it's nothing's assured.
Over the past several years, both the Biden administration and Trump have called the digital tax discriminatory against American companies. This former deputy prime minister says the tax can be scrapped to save negotiations.
I think the digital services tax is expendable in the context of getting a trade negotiation settled with the United States. But I don't think that if you've got something in a negotiation that you're willing to give up, you don't offer that off the top.
For months, the government has been trying to get punishing U.S. tariffs on steel, aluminum, and autos removed and stave off future duties. Now Trump says he will tell Canada, along with other countries, what tariff rate it will pay. The Parliamentary Budget Officer estimates that the federal government would get more than $7 billion over 5 years with the digital services tax. Analysts say it's unlikely Donald Trump will return to the negotiating table without the removal or pause of this tax. Judy Trin, CTV News, Ottawa.
Also tonight, Toronto's mounting waste dilemma. The landfill, home to our garbage, is filling up fast, and time's a wasting to sort through where to put our trash once it's at capacity. We dig into the messy conundrum.
And as we head into the weekend, most students and educators are celebrating the last day of their school year. It's an especially bittersweet last day of school for grade 5s at Fern Forest Public School in Brampton. CP24 was there this morning for a special celebration, bidding farewell to those students who'll be moving on to a new school next year. Students shared what the milestone means to them and how they're feeling heading into the summer break.
I am feeling super hyped up and very shocked because I have been in the school for 7 years and it's all just gone by very quickly.
Kind of sad because I'm leaving this school and it's been like 7 years here, so I'm feeling excited and sad at the same time.
Was it fun this year?
Yes.
What did you like the most about school this year?
It's because I like to do is learn about things.
Yes, what about you?
I like when we play around.
The school's principal also weighed in on the end of the academic year.
This is a fantastic community, and as a Peel District School Board Administrator, I have never been more proud. The learning that happened this year has been astronomical. We've had a fantastic group of students, an amazing bunch of staff, and like I said, I can't be more proud. So we are so looking forward to our summer break, and they deserve every moment of it.
And we'll have more coverage of the last day of school celebrations across the GTA later in the newscast.
And with the school year in the books, Ontario Education Minister is out with a major announcement.
Paul Calandra says the province has taken control of 4 more school boards, 3 of which are here in the GTA. CTV's Queen's Park Bureau Chief Siobhan Morris has the details.
The Education Minister making a big statement on the last day of the school year, taking over boards he says have been mismanaged.
Where trustees have failed, where students are being shortchanged, we will act.
Supervisors have been appointed for some of the biggest boards in the country: the Toronto District School Board, Toronto Catholic District School Board, Dufferin-Peel Catholic District School Board, and the Ottawa Carleton District School Board.
These boards have had multiple opportunities to address their structural financial issues, and time and again, they have failed to do so.
The government singles out TDSB trustees for rejecting almost half the cost-saving measures recommended to them by staff. The Dufferin-Peel Catholic Board faces
a whole host of other challenges, which frankly have put it at the brink of bankruptcy, and it's time that the government steps in and puts them back on track.
Supervisors have been charged with getting boards back to balance and on sound financial footing for the long term. But Calandra continues to hint much bigger changes lie ahead.
A broader rethink of the governance structure of boards is required. This is an important first step.
Opposition parties say the real problem is not enough funding.
The government's starting to pick a fight and blaming the situation in education squarely on school boards. I don't think that's balanced or reasonable.
Picking at the appointment of conservative insiders.
It's not going to make any difference to have a supervisor in there, especially not one with no experience in education, if the government isn't just going to fill that funding gap and make sure that the money is there to provide the supports that our kids need.
At the very end of his announcement, Calandra added that he's directed his ministry
to pause for 1 year any changes to the curriculum so that a more central, more consistent curriculum can be brought forward.
That includes a planned overhaul of the kindergarten program, mandatory learning on the Holocaust and Black Canadian history. Educators are welcoming the delay, the incoming president of the Ontario Secondary School Teachers Federation writing in part, a pause in the curriculum rollout is the right move. The process has been rushed with little meaningful consultation with the teachers and education workers expected to deliver it. OSSTF is looking to work with the government to get this right. The goal is to have that curriculum ready for the 2026-27 school year. At Queen's Park, Siobhan Morris, CTV News.
To your weather forecast now, when the final weekend in June is here, there is so much excitement on tap in the city, and we sure want the weather to cooperate. Looking a little cloudy out there. But let's get the specifics. Lindsay Morrison is here, potentially stormy tonight.
Yeah, Michelle, we're tracking some active weather right now. I'm going to step aside to show you where it is particularly active at this hour. You can see this line of storms starting to develop. Point Clark, Tiverton, Kincardine, and then in through the Parry Sound area. That's where we have thunderstorms happening right now. And as that front slides its way across the province, you can see that we have widespread severe thunderstorm watches in place. Eventually, that line makes it close to us here in the city of Toronto. Hopefully the line loses some of its punch by the time it arrives. An east wind keeping lakeside communities a little cool today. You could feel that breeze out there. It's only 14 degrees in Oakville right now. Compare that to Windsor, where it feels like 40 at this hour. Later on this evening, yes, the risk of thunderstorms, but the rest of the weekend looks pretty good. We're going to take you through the forecast coming up. For now, though, Michelle, back to you.
Thanks, Lindsay. Well, it's the kickoff to a very busy few days here in the city with Pride weekend festivities getting underway.
Road closures in place for anyone looking to head down to the Village. CTV's Janice Golding is live with more on the first major event of the summer. Janice.
Hi, Nathan. Yes, Pride weekend is underway, and as you can see, there are a lot of people ready to celebrate. Of course, that means road closures, Church Street shut down between Bloor and Dundas, and Wellesley between Yonge and Jarvis. The roads in the Church and Wellesley Village are closed. The setup well underway for a massive celebration.
We're gonna dance, we're gonna see people, we're gonna be happy for 3 days.
Toronto is ready for Pride Weekend, the culmination of a month-long celebration of the 2S LGBTQ+ community.
There are still over 65 countries in the world that it's illegal to love someone of the same gender. So yes, we celebrate all the gains that we have made, but it's also an opportunity for us to send a message that no one is free until we're all free.
This is the 47th year for the festival, which brings the city close to $200 million in taxable revenue. 3 million people take part in festivities throughout Pride Month, with 2 million expected to descend on Church and Wellesley this weekend alone.
I can't wait for this weekend to happen, to see how many people pour in.
I'm looking forward to it since last year.
Very excited. We've been planning it for like months now, so I'm ready.
Toronto's Pride is the second largest in the world and the biggest in North America, and draws people from far and wide.
We are from rural central Pennsylvania, and there is not a community that is robust like this here. So being able to be in a place where we're comfortable being ourselves, in a community where we can be ourselves, we're really looking forward to it.
Where we're from, there's not a whole lot of that community base like we have here in Toronto. And just being able to experience the joy and the pride and being able to be who we are and be loved and welcomed by everybody is really just honestly a dream come true.
The weekend will be chock full of activities, including the Trans March tonight, the Dyke March and the Drag Ball tomorrow, and the grand finale, Sunday's Pride Parade, which will feature 25,000 marchers and more than 250 groups. Given all the road closures this weekend, organizers say you should plan your route in ahead of time and take public transit if you can. Happy Pride, everyone. Reporting live, Janice Golding. Now back to Michelle and Nathan.
Thank you, Janice. Tenants in a North Toronto apartment tower have been without one elevator for months and then lost the other one in the middle of a record heat wave.
As CTV's John Woodward reports, many were stuck in the heat. One critic says the provincial government regulator needs to take action.
How many of you have been stuck in an elevator here?
That's most of the tenants in this apartment building in northwest Toronto, and with their elevators down, they are rising up. Jane Osaye said she got stuck last week with her 3 kids, rescued ultimately by the Toronto Fire Department.
My 2 kids now, they have trauma. Anytime they go into the elevator, they always cry, "Mommy, I'm stuck, I'm stuck."
So I was lucky that it's only one time that I've been stuck in the elevator, but there were other times that it seems like the elevator wanted to stuck with me, and what I did, I go like this, and I push the door open and I run.
And these are just the people who could make it down from their suites in the 14-story building.
It's not a good idea to take the elevator in this building, so to interview the people on the upper floors, we're taking the stairs.
Upstairs, we find Ola Adekolu. Her knees are so arthritic, she has to choose between being stuck in her apartment and stuck in the elevator, which happened to her in the heat wave.
Yes, exactly. We were sweating like crazy, 4 of us in the elevator.
You don't deserve it, nobody deserves it.
The area's MPP Tom Rakocevic says an Auditor General report 7 years ago warned Ontario's elevator safety regime wasn't working.
It's been 7 years, and it's happening not just here, but across the city.
The heat wave swelled emergency rooms and tripled the number of fire department elevator emergency rescues to 96 in the 3-day period, said District Commander Paul O'Brien.
We are a vertical city, and that's what we train for.
Ontario's elevator regulator said it inspected the building here last year and found only minor problems. One unit has been out for 5 months after a fire. The other has an unusual control system that is often on the fritz, said elevator technician Bogdan Russ.
They're far and few between. It's a tricky situation.
Russ said his technicians fixed that elevator by mid-afternoon. The tenants wary of getting in, feeling that while right now it is going up, it may be only a matter of time before it goes down again. John Woodward, CTV News.
Next to the growing problem of Toronto trash. It may be out of sight, out of mind once it's picked up from your curb, but the city's landfill is filling up fast.
So where will all the garbage go? Some experts say the options stink. CTV's Natalie Johnson reports.
At the Green Lane landfill in southwestern Ontario, where trucks dispose of Toronto trash, it may look like there is endless room for mountains of garbage, but this site will reach capacity within the next 10 years.
This is an issue that I would say most municipalities are facing in Ontario. So in Ontario, it's slated to, within 10 years, there will be no more landfill capacity available.
And so as the waste piles up and keeps on coming, the question for Toronto is what to do with the garbage after that. The city now undertaking public consultations on two options: secure more landfill space, which requires the buy-in of surrounding communities, or consider incineration.
They're both bad.
Councillor Diane Sachs, who previously served as the province's environmental commissioner, says a lack of political will to address the root cause pushed the problem to this point.
I've pushed hard for us to take waste reduction seriously, which is by far the less expensive option in the longer run. But I checked with solid waste yesterday. We're making no progress.
It's a significant problem because adding additional capacity to landfills is both environmentally burdensome, economically expensive, and actually takes a very long time. So you can't just add capacity overnight.
York University professor Calvin Lacken directs Canada's biggest waste management research project and stresses the idea of adding landfill capacity is antithetical to the goal of diversion. But he also cautions against incineration.
Mass burn technology essentially produces a lot of effluent. So there's a lot of carbon emissions, air particulate matter. So surrounding communities, it poses environmental and health risks. It's horribly inefficient. It's very resource and energy intensive to incinerate waste and then trying to turn it back into energy.
Durham Region burns its garbage, but the City of Toronto says using that incinerator is not on the table at this point.
Currently, no, that's not an option that we're contemplating. Again, we're really more at the, I would say, beginning stages of exploring.
But the clock is now ticking for Toronto to come up with a plan. With this landfill set to soon hit capacity, there is no time to waste. Natalie Johnson, CTV News.
Toronto police say they seized a pair of high-powered rifles from a group of teenage suspects after an attempted traffic stop last night in Etobicoke. Investigators say just after 11 last night, police tried to stop a vehicle near Islington and Dixon that didn't have its headlights on. The vehicle sped away before crashing into a tree. Police say 4 suspects ran off and they arrested 3, while also finding an AK-47 micro assault rifle and an AR-style assault rifle. The suspects are in custody, aged 15, 16, and 17. They face a combined 73 charges.
Frankly, it's very, very disturbing that 3 youths that are all under the age of 18 are driving around with this firepower. There's only one reason to have that type of weapon and the amount of ammunition they had, and that's to cause destruction.
Police say the suspects were on bail at the time for previous gun-related charges, and they're asking anyone with any information to contact them or Crime Stoppers.
The provincial Liberals say they've received a letter from Ontario's Information and Privacy Commissioner confirming an investigation into reports of a data breach of private health information at a third-party vendor.
And so to emphasize, in the letter that I wrote to the Information and Privacy Commissioner, I specifically outlined my concerns that there has been a breach of patient health information involving 200,000 or more patients, and that it has not yet been publicly disclosed. We now know from the Commissioner that that is true.
The Liberals say the reported breach is believed to have taken place in March at Ontario Health at Home. They also accuse the province of inaction in its response. Health Minister Sylvia Jones was asked about the situation.
Ontario Health is absolutely investigating right now. We have a division that focuses on any potential cyber breach, and as is standard operating, we will, Ontario Health and Ontario Health at Home, will notify if there has been any form of breach to individual patients. But that investigation is going on right now, and you are correct, it was a third-party vendor.
The Information and Privacy Commissioner's office said it would be too early to comment on the circumstances of the potential breach or when the government was first made aware. Lots of excitement building for Big Canada Day celebrations in the coming days, but police are warning they will be on patrol at all city-run events. The weekend will cap off on Tuesday with a massive fireworks display at Woodbine Beach, as well as Ashbridges Bay. Tens of thousands will gather to watch the big event, but police remind you to leave your own fireworks at home.
We've got very large signs educating and encouraging the public to not use personal fireworks or bring personal alcohol. And so I think we've seen some success, and we want to thank the community and the residents for actually adhering, to making sure that this is the safest event as possible.
There are also major fireworks displays set for Centennial Park in Etobicoke, the Harbourfront Centre, and Mel Lastman Square.
John Tavares made no secret of his desire to re-sign with the team he grew up cheering for, and now that has happened. The Toronto Maple Leafs are bringing back their star centerman on a 4-year, $17.55 million contract extension.
My belief in the team here, the ability to do something here that hasn't been done in a long time, that's really special. And with where my game's at, I don't think just this past season, but I look over the last few years, 2 or 3 years, and my belief in continue to play at a very high level, to play elite hockey and be a difference maker and contribute in a lot of areas. I felt like the fit, and obviously the comfort playing here for so long and where I'm at in my role and with the team just made so much sense.
Tavares will make an average of $4.38 million per season. The Mississauga native averaged a point a game last season, scoring 38 times and adding 36 assists. His goal total was the most since 2018-19, when he had a career-high 47.
Coming up on CTV News, the final bell and the beginning of the next chapter for 2 longtime teachers getting a well-earned recess. We pay a visit to a Mississauga school, bidding farewell to beloved educators as they embark on retirement.
And I'm Pat Foran. Coming up on Consumer Alert, we've done several stories on businesses selling equipment only to be scammed by fake bank drafts. More victims have come forward. And earlier this month, police charged 2 people in similar thefts involving fraudulent checks. I'll have my reports just ahead.
If you're spending the weekend in cottage country, you are likely to encounter some stormy weather tonight and then a mostly cloudy day for tomorrow. A lot more sun into the day on Sunday, which is great news for the Pride Parade in Toronto. It's also going to be quite hot at 30 degrees. If you're making it an extra long weekend, we'll take you through the Monday and Canada Day weather forecast coming up. And stay with us. We've got another full night of great shows for you right here on CTV.
When you see it happen, send it to CTV News. Text 10400. From your screen to ours. Text 10400.
We've done reports on companies selling expensive equipment only to be defrauded by fake bank drafts that look like the real thing.
More victims have come forward, and earlier this month, police in Barrie recovered more than $1 million worth of stolen vehicles and other items. Pat Foran has our story on Consumer Alert. Pat.
Thanks, Michelle and Nathan. After a 3-month investigation, 2 people have been charged with a long list of offenses, and police recovered vehicles, boats, and construction equipment. It's alleged the accused used fake bank drafts and checks, and investigators feel there may be more victims.
It looks like every other bank draft.
Patrick Bennett was selling a skid steer for just over $108,000. The buyers paid for it with a fake bank draft.
100% fake.
Todd Munyoung sold a spray foam trailer for almost $156,000. The buyers paid with a bank draft that was also fraudulent.
I brought it to the bank. I had them look at it. They said it was real. They put it in 4 days later. It's gone.
Following our stories, Randy Swain of Kingston contacted CTV News. He was selling 2 snowmobiles and a trailer earlier this year and was also scammed out of $42,000 with a fake bank draft.
I checked the driver's license. I checked the check. I made sure that everything looked correct to me. And, they're just that good. They're on the paper that comes from the bank.
It's not clear these 3 cases are connected to the recovery of stolen vehicles, boats, and construction equipment following an investigation in Barrie. But it also involved fake bank drafts and checks, and police feel there are more victims.
We're looking at over $1 million in property that has been seized, a significant amount of Canadian currency, and a lot of stolen property.
Along with stolen goods, police also seized 45 firearms. 32-year-old Farshid Ayon of Springwater and 26-year-old Olivia Osborne of Toronto both face a long list of charges, including theft, fraud, and identity theft. The 3 people who reached out to CTV News have been in touch with investigators, and anyone who has had property stolen with fake bank drafts or checks is advised to come forward.
We anticipate there will be more victims, and we're asking that if anybody recognizes these 2 suspects, that they get in contact with police.
In Bennett's case, his insurance company covered his losses under theft, but Munyoung's and Swain's losses were not, and they still hope there's a way to recover their funds. And police say be cautious when selling high-value items and accepting bank drafts. They advise you to do transactions at a police station, which may deter fraud, or make sure bank drafts clear at the bank before releasing your property. On your side, I'm Pat Foran.
If you have a consumer story idea, email us at alert@ctv.ca.
All right, let's talk about the forecast. School is out, and there's so much to do this weekend. It really feels like summer's in full swing now.
Seems like everybody's got some form of plans, and you know what? You really want the weather to cooperate. And although it's not a fully dry weekend, I think there is a lot to like.
There is a lot to look forward to. We've got a pretty good looking forecast overall, but I do want to talk about tonight because this is when the weather looks to be the most volatile. It's already happening in parts of our province. Let me show you what it looked like earlier today as people were getting ready to celebrate the weekend, a long weekend for some. This is Wasaga Beach, where, yeah, it was a bit of a cloudy, windy day, and now we've got thunderstorms rumbling through this part of the province, so hopefully everyone has moved off the beach. There is a pretty widespread severe thunderstorm watch in place right now. You can see all these areas in yellow. I am a little surprised that some areas have not been upgraded to a severe thunderstorm warning, especially these cells that we see just moving onshore from Godrich north towards Sauble Beach. Quite a bit of thunder and lightning associated with these. And we'll zoom in just a little bit closer. I do even see a couple signs of weak rotation over Lake Huron. So if you're joining us from this part of the province, hopefully you have found shelter and you stay there until all of this active weather has moved through. Thunderstorms making their way now through parts of Muskoka. This is going to be ongoing as we make our way through the nighttime hours tonight, eventually heading toward us here in the city of Toronto. So that's just ahead of the front. What makes a thunderstorm severe? You may be wondering or asking yourselves. Well, in the case of these storms tonight, we are anticipating some pretty heavy downpours and potentially damaging winds. That's the biggest concern again for tonight. It looks as though the cells might lose some of their punch by the time they reach us here in the GTA. But let me show you. So there's about 8 p.m. Timing wise, I'm going to pause that there around midnight. You can see less in the way of oranges and yellows on the radar and more in the way of green. So that's indicative of some rain. Plan on it being a little bit active, but it just, again, might not be as strong, those storms, as they are in other parts of the province right now. Waking up tomorrow morning, scattered showers possible along with some cloud cover. That's going to clear as the day goes on. Sunshine by the second half of your Saturday, and then loads of sunshine into the day on Sunday. It's going to be a mostly dry day everywhere. It's also going to be quite hot. Speaking of which, look at that. It feels like 42 again in the city of Windsor. That part of Ontario under a heat warning once again. We remain quite warm tonight. 22 for the low. That's about the daytime high that we ended up reaching today. So a mild start to tomorrow as well. As mentioned, the best chance of some showers is going to come tomorrow morning. The afternoon is looking bright. 27 degrees is going to feel like 35. We've talked a lot about some of the events happening around the GTA this weekend. The tall ships are going to be on Lake Ontario if you're looking for something to do tomorrow. And then, of course, the Pride Parade on Sunday. Mainly sunny skies and a high of 30. Also 30 degrees on Monday, but the chance of showers returns to our forecast. Might see a few showers Tuesday as well, but I think they're going to clear out in time for Canada Day fireworks at night. And look at that run of sun after that. That's the weather for now. Nathan, over to you.
Thank you, Lindsay. As the Ford government makes changes to alcohol sale rules in Ontario, pedal pub companies will be able to apply for liquor licenses starting July 1st. The province launched a pedal pub pilot in 2022, but alcohol isn't allowed on the large multi-person bicycles under that policy. Pedal pubs currently operate in Toronto, Niagara-on-the-Lake, Ottawa, and Windsor. Councillor Brad Bradford says he supports the idea, which the province says is aimed at boosting tourism.
Local municipalities will still set the routes, they will still set the hours of operation, and so there will be a permit process for anyone applying to have a pedal pub and to operate it on the streets in Toronto. And we're going to want to manage, congestion impacts, think about the routing, make sure that this isn't a problem. But the good news is these have been operating on our streets as part of a pilot program for a couple of years now. And I can tell you, I've ridden on one in the Pride Parade 2 years ago. They're actually a ton of fun. And I think it's something that people will be really excited about.
It's still not clear when pedal pubs in the city will get the green light to offer alcohol on board.
Also tonight, new research highlighting added stress and dangers faced by the queer community, why the risk of dementia is increased, and how it can be reduced. As Toronto gets set to celebrate the Trans Parade tonight and Pride weekend, some sobering news about the health risks faced by the LGBTQ2S+ community.
Particularly regarding dementia. We get the details from our health reporter, Pauline Chan.
The added stresses faced by the LGBTQ community start in youth, when many begin questioning their very identity, often in secrecy.
I've been very lucky to largely avoid physical issues, but certainly there's verbal harassment and slurs. Despite legal protections in Canada, there's still employment and housing discrimination.
Plus, fear of discrimination often causes members of the LGBTQ community to avoid the authorities or hospitals until their health and safety is in urgent danger.
So stress can create issues with inflammation in the brain. It can create other sorts of problems in other parts of your body. So stress is a factor. It's a common factor in a lot of different kinds of diseases,
including the development of dementia. In the past, AIDS and difficulty accessing health care meant there may not have been as many elders in the community, but Stephanie Woolley says aging and dementia is becoming a topic of concern. And as a trans woman, she points out some unique aspects of dementia for the trans community.
One of the things that the trans community really is scared about around dementia is that as we lose memory, we'll actually forget the fact that we transitioned. And we'll think of ourselves as who we were originally in life. And that is a horrifying notion to us.
So the first step is for people working, say, in long-term care, working in healthcare, to understand what these issues are that people may be facing and to be open and accepting.
And a future free of discrimination is something to truly celebrate for the LGBTQ community and everyone else. Pauline Chan, CTV News.
On what's been a busy day in provincial politics, Premier Ford announced plans to expand Ontario's use of private surgical and diagnostic facilities.
These centers will help cut wait times and provide convenient publicly funded care for people in their communities so they can get care when they need it, paid for by their OHIP card, not their credit card.
The Premier pledged $155 million for the initiative over the next 2 years. Those funds will go towards creating 57 new centers for MRI and CT scans and GI endoscopy services. The PCs say the move will help more than 1 million Ontarians access those publicly funded procedures with shorter wait times.
While the kids are marking the last day of school today, it's also the last day in the classroom for two teachers in Mississauga.
The pair are retiring after more than 30 years at the same school. CTV's Beth McDonnell has more on the send-off.
Combine their years in education, and these two French teachers have dedicated 73 years to students. Although today is the last day in the classroom for Philomena de Oliveira and Vivian Boehm.
Oh, I thank you, Phil.
We've
been very fortunate to be brought together at the end of our career.
Yes, very good. 9 et 10. Qui est un A?
This is de Oliveira's grade 5 class. She's been teaching for 39 years, almost all of it at St. Rose of Lima in Mississauga with the Dufferin Peel Catholic District School Board. She says it's been an honor to serve in her role, the school a second home.
It's bittersweet to leave such a wonderful learning community such as ours. It is a truly wonderful place to come every morning.
Just what's this one? This is Boehm's grade 6 class. She's been teaching at the school for the last 7 years and is retiring after 34 years in education.
I think it's rewarding. I think it's exciting to see when students really do turn on that little light bulb of excitement for you and that idea comes up.
Both say they've been part of big changes during their time in the classroom, especially on the digital side of things. But seeing the joy of learning in children has stayed the same.
I'm going to miss the interaction with the students. I find that just the day-to-day, you come in as the teacher, but you end up learning more from the kids.
I'm going to miss the children, of course. Doing all sorts of activities with the children and watching them learn and develop, and not only academically, but also socially and spiritually.
D'Oliveira and Boehm say they're ready for the next chapter and taking it on with great memories. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
Amazon founder Jeff Bezos and journalist Lauren Sanchez have reportedly exchanged vows as part of their 3-day wedding celebration in Venice. Dozens of A-list celebrities departed a Venice hotel to make their way to the ceremony today, including Oprah Winfrey, Leonardo DiCaprio, and the Kardashians. The events come under fire from local activists who say the opulence of the celebration comes as ordinary Venetians struggle with increases in tourism and the cost of living. Post under her now married name, Lauren Sanchez Bezos shared this image from the ceremony, with celebrations set to continue tomorrow. After the break, playing for pride. Canada's women's national team takes on Costa Rica in their annual Pride celebration match. Details on the friendly game coming up.
With the current status of our team and the foundation that, well, Masai has built, that this was the time to make the change.
Updating our top stories, the Toronto Raptors parted ways with Masai Ujiri after more than a decade. The team's president was heading into the final year of his contract. The franchise won its first championship in 2019 with Ujiri at the helm.
We will seek to have these unjustified tariffs removed.
Donald Trump has ended trade talks with Canada. The U.S. president calls the digital services tax a direct attack on the United States. The federal government says it will continue U.S. trade talks in the best interest of Canadians.
Where trustees have failed, where students are being shortchanged, we will act.
The province has taken over 4 more school boards, 3 of them in the GTA. The Toronto District School Board, Toronto Catholic District School Board, and Dufferin-Peel Catholic District School Board. The education minister says they've been mismanaged.
Remember to keep up to date day and night at ctvnewstoronto.ca and by downloading this CTV News app. And if you have a news tip, photos, or video of breaking news, let us know. Statistics Canada released new GDP figures today. BNN Bloomberg's Morella Fernandez has those details.
The Canadian economy contracted in April by 0.1%, and no surprise, the biggest decline came in manufacturing. That's the month tariffs would have hit hard, with Canadian steel, aluminum, and auto sectors all targeted. Manufacturing was down almost 2%, the biggest drop in 4 years. Statistics Canada also released an early estimate for May's GDP, predicting another drop of 0.1%. Here's how the trading day ended. The Canadian dollar is down to 72.96. West Texas Intermediate is up to 65.52. Our fix on Western Canadian Select has it up to 53.55. And the TSX was on its way to a record close, but slumped after Trump announced he's terminating trade talks with Canada. It dropped 59 points to 26,692. Those are your business headlines. I'm Morella Fernandez.
The Business Report is brought to you by Canadian Western Bank, the bank built for business.
To soccer, with Canada's women's national soccer team beginning a pair of international matches tonight against Costa Rica. The Canadians won all 17 meetings with the Central Americans, but they needed extra time to get past them at last year's Gold Cup. Kickoff at BMO Field is at 7:30. Canada plays the top-ranked Americans in Washington on Wednesday.
Just ahead, from heading up north to traveling down south to play dates in between, students share their exciting plans for summer vacation.
And a reminder, the CTV News at 6 podcast is available as a download every weeknight. And a special shout out to those of you listening to the newscast live on News Talk 1010.
Get Toronto's top stories, breaking news alerts, and watch live. Download the CTV News app.
Returning now to our coverage of the last day of school. Across the GTA, students and principals holding celebrations marking the milestone date and the start of summer vacation.
Now, this was the scene at Ogden Junior Public School as students and staff held a clap out for graduating grade 6s. The celebration spans several floors as the building, as students marched out to the schoolyard to hear the final bell of the school year. Several shared how they felt as they looked back on their achievements and ahead to their plans for the summer.
A bit sad, a
A bit sad. Because I'm gonna miss my friend.
Sad and excited. Because I get to do a lot of stuff during the summer, but I'm sad because I'm gonna miss my friends.
It feels so good. I can finally be free of school.
What's your summer plan?
The best thing ever that everyone should do every day.
Tell me.
They should sleep.
And school is out until the first week of September, which is a long time. So enjoy the summer.
Oh, those are some fabulous kids. Have the best summer ever. And it's that feeling when the entire summer is in front of you, the possibilities.
Oh, yeah.
And there is some summer heat and sun on the way for the first weekend.
There sure is. Although what I want to do first is just bring you up to speed on these thunderstorms that are rumbling well north of the city right now. But there's one more look at the satellite and radar. These storms are pretty potent, actually, between Kincardine and then over toward the Collingwood area. There are now severe thunderstorms warnings in place. You can see the orange there. Here's your Pride weekend forecast. Just keep an eye out for a couple of thunderstorms as we make our way late this evening, and then a look ahead to Tuesday night. I think we're going to have clear skies for the fireworks on Canada Day. And that's one more look at the forecast. Have a great weekend, Michelle and Nathan.
Thanks, Lindsay. That's it for us, but you can join Omar Sachedina tonight at 11 for CTV National News, followed by Zoraida Allman with your next local newscast at 11:30.
Meantime, our coverage continues anytime on CP24 and at ctvnewstoronto.ca.
For Lindsay Morrison and the whole team here at CTV, thanks for watching and have a great weekend.